You're teasing me, are you?
Okay, this presentation was designed for multiple audiences with multiple interests and does contain some overlap, contains some writing, which I'm given the amount of time we have, which is 15 minutes. This is going to be more like a picture show where I comment on the writing in here. Okay, that is, in case you didn't know, the background is the Bolivian flag colors. Our vocational training team left for Bolivia on February 22nd and returned on March 8th, 2015. The sponsors and primary contacts were, well, of course, Rotary International, Tacoma 8 Rotary, Tenari Rotary, and Cochabamba, Bolivia. And then we had people from other organizations, an NGO. The CEO of an NGO was Sandy Kemper. Juan Carlos Rodriguez was from the Tenari Rotary. Kevin McGowan was the grant writer from Tacoma 8, and of course Susan from Rotary International. We had 2 dentists and 4 hygienists. I was the team captain, as mentioned before, for various reasons. We had people who volunteered to be photographers, Kristen Lebec and Becky Delaney, which of interest to the Canadians of you, Becky is a Canadian hygienist. Tracy Wayman was the other dentist, and the Rosie and Deborah McGlynn did a lot of the training. There's our team members. This picture was taken, we'll skip that. That's the team, and our NGO that we worked with was called Smiles Forever. It's a nonprofit that provides a career opportunity for low-income women through training and certification in hygiene. Hygiene is not currently a profession in South America, in any of South America. This is the Smiles Forever facility from outside. The goals that we outlined in the grant application were to provide, these are fairly extensive goals. I encourage you doing grants to tailor them a little more. Because again, you're supposed to do everything you say you're going to do. Provide preventive and restorative training to various people. We were there for 2 weeks. Advance knowledge and respect for the hygiene profession. Increase educational outreach to rural and urban communities. Administer treatment and education in a rural practicum. In actuality, you'll see this one, we didn't actually do that, because we did it in Cochabamba itself, so it wasn't rural. Increase the quantity and quality of future treatment in rural areas, and increase the capacity to train and retreat. A lot to accomplish in 2 weeks. And this is pictures of how we did this. This is one of our hygienists demonstrating hygiene to the students at the Smiles Forever facility. We did visits to local dentists to try to convince them about the value of hygienists. We advertised the value of hygiene program, and they actually had a TV station interview us, and it was a pretty widely watched station in Cochabamba. This is where we started, in Seattle, and as you see American Airlines there, that is not product placement. Not my favorite airline. Okay, just for some of you who actually don't know where Bolivia is, it's right here, a landlocked country in the middle of South America. There we go, flying over La Paz at 13,500, no, La Paz is 13,500 feet. We were a lot higher than that. That's where we went through customs. We got visas there, bought our visas there, we exchanged money, and changed airplanes. And that's the airport at La Paz, where we all got altitude sickness. We were from, the Northwest, so landing in the rain, we were prepared, and we felt right at home right away. We were met at Cochabamba by the staff of the NGO, Sandy Kemper and Alejandro Beckrich, the COO. Then we were taken to a hotel, And then we were taken to a reception all in the same day. And this is a reception. We were greeted by the Smiles Forever staff, local dentists, and the Ternary Rotary. 3 members of the Ternary Rotary were there. So you can see there was quite a bit of participation, which was one of the good things about this program that we did. During the 2-week stay there, we worked singly or together or small groups or as a complete team. We all together went to every political event, social event, or lecture, both for mutual support and to facilitate the mission of dispensing information. This was demonstrating hygiene techniques to students and instructors at one of the universities there. This is our Canadian hygienist doing translation of a curriculum for the hygiene school at Smiles Forever, and she did it on the computer. And you know that we have to have a certain minimum, $30,000, which we didn't quite come up to that with the transportation expenses we predicted, so we were able to incorporate some pieces of equipment that we needed to effectively do the project, and that included a laptop computer, projector, printer, screen, and dental chair. And as the dental chair, of course, was definitely part of facilitating capacity, and all of this was due to our presentations and including our translation of curriculum there. There's the dental chair that was purchased. There's our dentist demonstrating operative composite techniques to dentists. Here's a demonstration to graduated hygienists from the school. Here's me giving a scientific lecture to the Smiles Forever staff on endodontics. We went to the Periodontal Society and talked about the hygiene program, and again, a scientific lecture. The reason there was a scientific lecture, you'll see with almost every presentation of the hygiene program, was because the dentists didn't want to hear the hygiene program, but they did want to hear the scientific lecture. So that was the hook. Yeah. And we talked to the oral and maxillofacial surgeons, and of course they got to hear the hygiene program and a scientific lecture on bisphosphonates, which after the program, if you want to know what a bisphosphonate is, I'll tell you. This is again a lecture at the university, dental hygiene program, number of lectures, nitrous oxide, human papillomavirus, a scientific lecture. And as you can see, well actually this is only half the room, the other half is over there. So it was a pretty good crowd, and as you can see, everybody was illuminated by our presentation. We spent a lot of time going to various dentist offices and trying to promote the value of dental hygiene. It turns out they respond to economics. When I tell them that as a dentist they can make more money if they hire some hygienists, they like that idea. And this was again our interview at the university where we had a speaker, a host, talk to us about what we were doing there. We did have interviews with the major newspapers, and they published a nice article on us while we were there, and that's a reporter from the newspaper. This is where we were interacting with the host club. This is Juan Carlos that I mentioned earlier, and they had us at a dinner and gave us some presentations and gifts. There's Juan Carlos, and that's what their Rotary Club looks like. And this is us again with the university, and the president of the university is there talking to us. And that's the other one was the director of international relations for the university. This is the teaching staff and students at the Smiles Forever facility training the hygienists. And this is us pinning graduation buttons on the students. During the 2 weeks there, we worked really hard, but we did have a little bit of time off. We got to eat dinner and lunch, and then during that time, sometimes we went out to the local markets, which it was fall there since we went there in February, and it's in South America. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we didn't work either. So we got to go on tour. This statue overlooks Cochabamba, and it is, you may recognize it. It is identical almost to the statue that you see at Rio de Janeiro, and almost identical in height except for maybe a crown. Those little portholes are viewports for people going up in there. And this is a view from the base of that statue. Actually, there is some place there, a place on the bottom that you can actually, the slide is actually a video, but I don't know how to get it started. So it goes around and it shows you the whole city. We were hosted by the Smiles Forever family, and this is one of the family members singing us a serenade goodbye. That's Sandy Kemper's husband's brother. Anyway, so he's singing to us. So from Cochabamba, we went to Miami and stayed overnight at the Comfort Inn. And then, you might recognize this. We were so happy to see this. And that's where we are. We, update, we provided valuable support to the Smiles Forever program. I think you can see what we did. If that is ever totally instituted, it could be transformative for not only Bolivia, but for South America. Things move slowly in South America. At this point, the government is on the verge of approving dental hygiene in Bolivia as a trade, which is fine. That's a great start. So here we are. Any questions? Okay.
I think one thing Michael's presentation demonstrates is a very good relationship between Rotary and an NGO, where the NGO was quite willing to give Rotary equal credit for the project, made sure Michael and his team were involved in radio interviews and TV interviews, and it was a mutually beneficial thing. And, you know, anytime you work with an NGO, you have to be careful to make sure Rotary gets good billing. This is a great example.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that. This is a really good promotion for the VTT component of any type of a grant, because you can see how valuable it is. I want to thank you for your attention all day. I know it's been a long day for you to be sitting and taking in all of this information. I thank you for that. I ask you to please complete your evaluations and leave them on the table. That will help us to ensure that we are incorporating everything that we, I forgot something, so don't leave yet. Incorporate everything that we need to incorporate. But before you go, we just need some feedback on the prerequisite online sessions that Bob asked that you review. So let's hear some pros and cons.
We're all good Rotarians, so I know you all did it. Yes, sir.
I did actually do them, but